Sometimes you feel so alone and overwhelmed you don't know where to turn. These days, it seems like there is no end to our problems. We invite you to connect with Silent Unity, the 24-hour prayer ministry where someone is waiting to pray with you right now. Since 1890, Silent Unity has always been there. No judgment or dogma, just someone affirming the best for you. Call 816-969-2000 today. You can also connect online at unityprayervigil.org.
All are welcome here. You're listening to UnityOnlineRadio.org, the voice of an awakening world.
Learn the language of spirit. This is The Intuitive Life with Laura Wooster.
Hello and welcome to The Intuitive Life, where we walk together and support each other on the path to becoming more spiritually aware, enlightened, and inspired. My name is Laura Wooster, and we will be taking your calls today, 816-251-3555. Again, it's 816-251-3555. If you'd like to get in the queue, and we'll be taking calls in the second half of the show. Just a couple of quick things. Thank you so much for tuning back in. I know feels like forever since I've been on the air. Lots going on with the holiday break, and then last weekend I was in Fort Myers, Florida for a grief retreat with the Forever Family Foundation. And I just have to say, if you are someone who may be struggling with grief, and you may be let me say, for me, I'm a healthy skeptic when it comes to this work. Even though I do this work and I believe in it, I'm still I consider myself a healthy skeptic. I don't believe everything that I experience or hear. But this organization, Forever Family Foundation, is very much, they are focused on science and evidence and also compassion, and supporting people in the grieving process, and for people searching for the evidence that their loved ones are still around. So if you are sort of in that boat and you're looking for, evidence or like-minded people, and maybe others who are grieving, check out the foreverfamilyfoundation.org. A great organization, great people, some of the kindest people, and they just want to help. It's a fully a volunteer organization. And I have to say, it really has restored my faith in the work that I do, to be honest. Sometimes I always tell people, I'm an open book. I share a lot on this show. But, in my line of work, I feel like sometimes our perspective gets skewed, and it tends to become about, how much of a social media influencer a medium can be, or, are they on television? Have they written a book? All these things, and that seems to be the focus, not so much the work. And so there was not too long ago, and actually many times, that I've actually considered walking away from this work because I just felt like it was going in the wrong direction in the greater whole here. That the focus wasn't on helping people. But I have to say, at the end of this retreat this past weekend, I actually got very emotional, because it brought me back to realizing that there are people who still do this work for the right reasons. And it is to help other people. And it's not to become, a social media influencer and things. Those things just aren't as important. They just aren't important at all, actually. And so I'm very grateful to the Forever Family Foundation for bringing that back to the forefront, in my mind at least. And I'm hoping that they get more visibility in that as well. If you'd like to see how they work, there's a Netflix episode Netflix series called Surviving Death. It's been up for a while, and they are featured in episode 4. And so you can see Fran and Bob Ginsberg, who founded the Forever Family Foundation, and their journey and what brought them to pulling this group together. And it's life-changing. I mean, to actually see people's life change in just a few days is, I can't even tell you. I get emotional just thinking about it. So if you're looking for a grounded, science-based, evidence-based, very compassionate group of volunteered volunteers and people, look for this organization online and become a member. It's free. So there's that. If you're in the New England area, I just want to let you know on Saturday, on the 22nd, I will be at Circles of Wisdom with my dear friends and colleagues, Rita Berkowitz and Lori Sheridan, for an evening of mediumship and spirit art. Myself and Lori and Rita will obviously be doing messages from spirit, but Rita will also be doing her spirit art, which is as she's bringing through the loved ones from spirit, she'll actually draw them for you as well. So come and see us. Masks are definitely required for everybody who's attending. But we know that we can all get together safely and still have this type of event. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go to laurawooster.com and you can see that on my calendar. And I'll also be serving a few churches in the next few weeks. You can go to my website as well under the events to see the online services, spiritual churches that I'll be serving, one in Boston, one in Lilydale. And there's also, I believe, Journey Within. Yeah, Journey Within as well. There's a whole bunch coming up. Anyways, just go to my website, laurawooster.com. Alrighty, without further ado, if you're a regular listener to my show, you've heard my guest before, and she's a very popular guest, my dear friend and colleague, Ellen Bent. She's been on her journey for over 20 years. She is an intuitive healer. She's a certified practitioner in Reiki, fire Reiki, magnified healing, intuitive energy healing, and she's also a shamanic energy practitioner. And she completed an intensive 2-year shamanic energy healing school. Let's see. She's also studied mediumship, and she is a medium, although she doesn't call herself that, but she is a medium. And that's not her focus, but that's what she does as well. And she also teaches spiritual development, spiritual classes, workshops, and healing circles. And she also offers mentoring. Yeah, there's so much more, Ellen, but without further ado, let's bring on my dear friend, Ellen. Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Laura. Thanks so much. It's wonderful to join you again.
I'm so glad you could come back on again. It's always good to chat with you. I think we have awesome conversations, and I love to share it with the world.
Yes, usually they go for 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah,
privately.
Yeah, tea and coffee.
Yeah.
But today we wanted to talk about tools for finding inner peace, and what does it exactly mean? So, Ellen, when people come to you and they're struggling with finding their inner peace, where do you begin with them?
I begin with a little bit of my story, like my journey, to be able to relate, because I think we all can relate to someone else's journey instead of being a teacher. Mm-hmm. And so I try to explain that inner peace is a state of being. It's a state of calm, relaxed, regardless of what's happening around you, and that works differently for everyone. And some people find peace with, their self-care activities or meditation, sitting with their guides, journaling, but it is different for everyone. And so what I want people to know, though, is that you decide to go on this journey to find inner peace. It's a change in the way you've been conducting things, because if you don't have the inner peace and you're searching for it, you already know what you're missing when we have a conversation. And so deciding that you want to hold that peace within is the first step, and then committing to the process is the second step. Now, it can be difficult when you start talking about change, but something has to change. If you're not finding it, you have to realize that whatever you're doing might not be the right process. So I teach them how I've learned to embrace quiet, how I've accepted change in my life, and how I've embraced self-worth. And then when I talk about what I've changed, then I talk about what I've gained. And I've gained so much more patience and healthy boundaries and able to speak my truth easily. And those are huge benefits. Because a lot of clients that I see, they're either people pleasers, they're doing too much, they don't think about themselves enough, and they're absolutely exhausted. And they say, I have no time for a yoga class or, going out of the house or doing anything that takes up time. This is all what you can do within your lifestyle.
Yeah, and so how do people determine what their next step is? Because sometimes if someone's really not experiencing inner peace at all, I mean, they're really struggling, like what's the very first thing, like something that they could do like immediately that can help to sort of bring them to center?
The first thing they can do is breathe. Give yourself the time and give yourself some compassion and be aware of your breathing. So whenever you feel frustrated or short-tempered, distracted, you can use your breath to find balance and ground your energy. And your breath is always with you. You don't have to go looking for it. I've been practicing this technique of the 4-7-8 breath. I used to do a shorter sequence, but I find it goes deeper. And, so you breathe in deep through your nose for 4 seconds. You hold that for 7, and then you exhale slowly through your mouth and just push that air right out. And this helps regulate the hormone cortisol. It helps with the flight or fight response. And the long exhale stimulates the nervous system, which basically initiates the relaxation response in your body. And you have to just make sure you breathe deep and fill your air with the, fill your lungs with air. And you can do that doing anything. You can do it when you're driving. You can do it just, sitting at work or, at any time. It is one of the most essential things for your body to react to what you're doing. You don't have to take anything. The air is right there. And it also helps decrease anxiety. It helps you sleep better. And if you feel like you're in a situation of disappointment or frustration, don't we always tell our kids, to sit down, take a few deep breaths? We're teaching our children how to breathe, but we kind of forget that when we're adults.
That's so true. Actually, yeah, I've done that with my granddaughter quite a bit. And then
yes.
I've heard my words come right back at me. Well, let's take a breath.
Yes. And, the thing is that, I never taught my kids how to breathe like this. I wasn't aware of it. And so I am able to do this with my grandchildren now. And it's real interesting. They pick up things like little sponges. And, so when two of them are kind of like bickering at each other, the brother and sister were like, okay, let's sit down and let's do some breathing. And it's like, oh, guess what we learned at Mimi's house? So they take that home and they practice it at home. But it's for me, it's one of the most powerful tools. It's one of the tools I use often. I will use this when I find myself, in a line at a store. So there's 2 cashiers, there's 20 people in line. I've got the mask on, so the breathing is just challenging. But we breathe and we allow, and we just breathe and allow, and whatever's meant to be is going to be. We can't make the line go faster. We really don't want to put down our item. And there's something then just about enjoying the fact that you are in this place, you're holding something that you've purchased, and find the joy in that instead of, so it's a choice. You chose the joy rather than the frustration. And the breathing, is all part of that.
It's also accepting what you have control over and what you don't.
Absolutely. Right. We can't control the outside world. All we can control is our reaction to it.
Right, exactly.
And another thing I use, and I do have to, admit I use this with my grandchildren as well, is visualize a happy place. So if you visualize a place that you love being at, and you can do that visualization to the point where you feel like you're there, and your imagination just grows with you, whether it's, you're at the ocean or you're even in your cozy bedroom under the covers, playing with your pet or a favorite vacation. My go-to place is a waterfall in Ireland that I visited when I was 18. And sometimes I visualize holding one of my grandchildren for the first time. And all the details are in our mind. And accessing these memories, you start to feel when you're actually there. And that helps you relax. which then brings calm to your body.
And the other thing too that I've realized recently, and the acceptance is a big thing, right? Acceptance of what is,
Absolutely.
And also embracing, and this is a tough thing for a lot of people to do, is embracing disappointment and pain, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's what next thing I'd love to explore is like how do you move through that? Because, and I'll just use this as an example. I was talking with a counselor of mine, and I had a situation where I just know that it's not going to go in a way that I want it to go, right, with a relative of mine, and I said I'm just nervous it's not going to turn out well, and they said, well, it may not, it absolutely may not, and they said, what do you have what's in your power to try to make it better? And I said, I can do X, Y, and Z, and they said, well, just be prepared that it may not do anything, it may not help at all. And there was a sense of peace that came with that, to recognize and just have to accept that it may not change anything. So does it mean that we avoid pain and disappointment? No, but what are some tools that you give to people to help to how to move through that, or how to accept that?
I think first they have to really understand the realization that it's frustrating them, it's weighing on them, and you can't control others. So when you can only control yourself, I try to find the optimism in this and the compassion. So whatever someone else is going through, if you have compassion for them and understanding that whatever they're going through is a place in time.
Exactly.
And that if you give them the time they need, because I know for myself, I need more time to deal with things than some other people do. And I may deal with things quicker than other people do. We're all different. We all adjust to these things in life differently. We're not all made the same. So just letting go of the outcome and allowing. Spirit knows we want resolve. Spirit knows we want help. But maybe our help is making this person dig their heels in a little bit too long. Or our need to control. And we can back off, and we can send them the vibration of love and compassion and give that to ourselves as well. We are now removing that angst for the issue and allowing. So, allowing things to play out is a difficult time for humans. We don't really want to allow. We want to help. But we don't always have to be the helpers. Exactly. We can observe what's going on. We can make a determination of what's the best thing. And if somebody's pushing you away for a little while, honor them, respect them. Exactly. And it's going to work out in the way that your life path is supposed to work out, We're all here to experience these things. We didn't come here into this physical world to have everything go right. We have to learn how we adjust to these issues that are tossed at us.
Exactly.
And I think people also struggle with being perfect, so they want somebody else to be perfect too. You've got to let go of perfection. It's exhausting.
Yeah, that just doesn't exist.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
With that, I'll also say I believe in sending loving vibrations, loving thoughts. I believe in sending prayers and asking for a resolve, setting the intention that you want the best for them, and that oftentimes both people need to move some. And forgiveness is a big issue with like relationships. So you not only have to forgive each other, but you each have to forgive yourself. So that's a lot for people to all work in a time frame.
Oh yeah.
And that comes with people's personal growth and the way that they live their lifestyle. If they're not doing a lot of self-care, it may take them a little bit longer. If you're doing self-care, then you show compassion and a little bit of or a lot of patience.
Yeah, just recognizing that two people in a situation may not be working on it exactly in the same manner, in the same way, or have the same needs. So.
Right, and I've had clients where they don't even know why they're having issues, but obviously they need time to figure that out. So sometimes you could ask someone, what's the problem? And they don't want to tell you because they don't know.
Right.
People don't want to be vulnerable. And at the same time, when they do know, sometimes they don't want to be vulnerable. So they're allowed to have their space. And things will work out the way they're supposed to.
Right.
We don't know what those are because we can't plan that.
Mm-hmm. And there's something to be said too for, and this happens to me quite a bit, and it seems to work for me most of the time. Is that when you're at when there's times when I'm just feeling very unsettled and and there's no solution in sight, whatever it may be, and I just might, in a moment of prayer, just say, okay, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, and you can put any name that you want to put on that, whatever your belief system is, and just, okay, Spirit. Just give me a little sign that it's, even though it's not resolved, that everything's going to be all right. Just give me a little sign, just something. And
Right.
typically within 24 hours, I'll get some kind of sign that says, we don't have the answer. The answer's not in front of you yet, but
Right.
we have your back. And so I truly believe that, and it tends to always happen. So.
I know. Isn't it funny that sometimes, most of the time for me, it comes through in music. I hear a phrase in a song, and I'm like, oh, that was the answer I was looking for.
Yes.
Or that was exactly what I needed to hear right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the spirit world knows that we're looking and that we're searching, but the spirit world also knows what we need to learn and experience. So
yes.
there's a lot juggling at the same time.
Right. It's not like they're anybody in the may there be your guides or whatever you want to call them in the spirit world. It's not like they're your fairy godmother and they wave a wand to make everything better. But they're very tuned in. They know what's going on, and we know we're never alone. That we never walk this alone. Spiritually, we have a spiritual family, and
Absolutely.
and they hear us. They hear our prayers. They hear our struggles, and even though a solution may not be directly in front of you, or you may not be able to feel that, or you feel very unsettled, it's okay to sort of give it up to them and say, just give me a little sign that everything's all right. And however that may come. And like you said, it could be music. I know for me, it's a cardinal. Like if I see a cardinal right after I say that, I know it's okay.
Okay.
And it happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like, and they come in the craziest places. I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. So so things like that. So you can always set a sign for spirit, or just be open to other things that they might want to bring forward.
I love asking spirit for a sign because it shows that you're working with them. You're a coworker. You're saying, okay, we're in this together. Hold my hand. You don't have to tell me where we're going. Just hold my hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they don't. And spirit's not going to figure it all out for you because obviously, like you said, you're co-creating solutions,
Right.
or co-creating healing. And there's all these things that you're doing together in tandem with them. And you may want an immediate answer, an immediate solution, but that may not be what's supposed to happen. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I usually tell people when they're going, through these stressful times that find gratitude. Find gratitude for what you have, who you are, all the wonderful things. Don't focus on lack. Focus on gratitude, because if you're thinking of it as lack in if you're on the outs in a relationship or with troubling times, that's exhausting, putting all of your energy into what's wrong. It's so much easier to hold the energy of being grateful. And another thing is, do something for someone else. Do good deeds. It's a great way to focus off yourself and become aware of other people's struggles. Because when you're kind, you receive kindness in return. And that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for more kindness because you're in a place where, there's something going on. And so it kind of fills our well. So whether it's, buying food for a food pantry, whether it's volunteering for something, sending a check in the mail, whatever helps, when you do things for others, it's kind of like the super drug.
It is. And
you don't take it; it just fills you.
And it also it gives you a perspective too, because then you're recognizing you're not focused so much on what's happening right in front of you, but then to look further out and say, okay, Yeah,
Yes.
we're all going through something. So
Right, right,
yeah.
right. And so people resonate really well with helping others to help themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of replace fear with faith.
Hmm. Yeah.
Believe in something better will be here.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. And I love the gratitude thing as well. I mean, I was doing this recently with a friend that they suggested like, let's play the appreciation game. I'm like, what? Okay, let's do this. So they
Mhm.
were saying, I appreciate this about you, I appreciate that about you, but the thing was you couldn't say but or if
Right.
or the hell had to be. I appreciate this, and boy, it really was just it really brought things in perspective, and it in a few minutes it shifted energy really beautifully, and yeah, and it especially if you're going through a lot of things and trying to achieve something, and there's a lot of struggle in that, then it can really bring things in perspective and a recognition
Mhm.
of what you've accomplished, even if you're still working towards something. So.
Right. And
Yeah.
and and just even thinking about what you're grateful for changes, your vibration. So if you're
Hmm.
sitting in the Dunkin' Donuts line and there's 12 people in front of you, start
Hmm.
thinking about what you're grateful for.
Yep. Hmm.
It's we have tools that we are aware of. We're just not always conscious of using them. And the more you use them, the more you've incorporated it into your life. And that's really what the commitment is to finding, inner peace. It doesn't mean everything's going to be okay. It
Yes.
means you start slowly, and before you know it, you're like, oh, that's not bothering me.
Exactly. All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna go on. We're just gonna go pop on a break for a few moments, and we'll be back with our callers, your questions and readings. 816-251-3555.
Practical spirituality, positive messages. This is UnityOnlineRadio.org, the voice of an awakening world.
Welcome back to The Intuitive Life with Laura Wooster.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. And my guest today is intuitive healer Ellen Bent. And if you'd like to learn more about Ellen and what she has to offer, her teachings and her private sessions, you can go to ellenbenthealing.com. But now we are going to take some calls, either for questions or readings. 816-251-3555. So let's see. Is there anything in particular, Ellen, that you need to know from callers when they ask questions, or you just want to go for it?
Yeah, just go for it.
Cool. All right.
If
Okay.
whatever, they'll, well, if they have an issue that they're dealing with, having just a little discussion about that is all I need.
Okay, great. Okay,
And
awesome.
we'll talk. Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's go. Let's go to Mary first. Hello, Mary.
Hi there, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually, if you don't mind, just a reading would be great.
Okay. Is there any particular areas of your life you'd like some insight on?
I don't know, I'm kind of all over the place, but possibly career. I really don't know. I'm just going to let you guys do what you do best.
Okay. So possibly career you want to look at. Okay.
Possibly.
All right. Okay. So let's look at this. Before I ask you what you do. So Ellen, how do you want to do this? Do you want to kind of tune into Mary's energy about?
But yeah, why don't you start talking to her, and then I'll
Okay.
get into her energy as she's talking. Okay.
Sounds great. Excellent. So Mary, what do you do for work?
Currently, I'm a secretary.
Okay. Okay. Um, is this for a small business or for a larger corporation?
A school.
Okay, a school. Okay. All right. So it's a larger sort of word. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just see where we're going with this. Interesting. Because I wasn't. I mean, I guess kind of as. Let me just say what I pick up around people. Typically, when I'm talking to them on the phone, I can see their aura, right? So it tells me a lot when I see the colors and how it presents itself. It tells me a lot about what your strengths may be and what you might be challenged by right now. And so what I'm seeing with you, and I'm also pulling cards as I'm talking to you, so we'll go with that. So what I'm seeing with you, you definitely, for you, if I didn't ask you all that already, and you didn't, tell me that you're working with a school, I would have said there's a potential here of being related to education in some way, because you've got all of this represented in your aura. Okay. Now, do you actually have a teaching degree as well in it, or do you feel like you do that sometimes when even though it's not your position?
I would say that, yeah.
Yeah.
More so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because there's a lot of that there. But the one thing that I'm seeing here, and I'm not big on predictions. I look more at potentials. Okay, so sometimes there's, depending on when we're talking, there's more potentials for one thing over another. So what I'm seeing with you is possibly moving on from this position, and looking at other options. So that's what I'm seeing here with you. I kind of feel like you're in limbo in a sense with where you are at the moment. And you can validate that in a moment, but let me just go further a little bit more. But if you are looking for other opportunities, I do think, and it's outside of this type of work that you're doing right now, is what it seems like. It seems like a little bit of a change using the skill set, but a different expression of it. I see the potential of more money and more opportunity opening up for you. But for some reason, I don't see the opportunity opening up right at the very moment, but possibly towards the spring. There'll be more opportunity with that. Does this make sense with what you're looking for right now?
Getting out, yes.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Yes, I see it. I see the potential here of this ending, or you moving, looking at other opportunities or something else to do with your time, and that's what I'm seeing here. So I don't think if you're looking long term here. If it is, maybe another year, but I'm feeling more sooner than that. I'm feeling more springtime, that you may be looking at doing something different. All right.
Okay.
So are you looking to retire, or are you looking to take on another position?
Well, Laura, that would be great, but I don't think I can yet.
Okay.
But I would like to, my insides say being independent and being on my own, but
Yes.
I don't know what that looks like, or, I have no idea what that looks like, or for what.
Yeah, because it's interesting, because I was feeling around you something somewhat entrepreneurial, like being more independent, right? That's definitely something that I was picking up around you, about kind of feeling the need for that in your life at this point. So I would look at something like that. Does it mean that you're not working for somebody else? I think maybe temporarily you might be working for somebody else while you determine what the next step is. But I feel like it's so different from what you're doing currently, like where you'd like to go. Because I do feel entrepreneurial, and there's a creativity around you as well. There's a lot of ideas, but they're not really, you haven't settled on anything in particular. So you don't have to tell us on the air what you want to do, but my sense is that you kind of know a little bit of an idea of what you want to do, but you're not really sure how to implement that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay, okay. And
Hey, Laura, can I jump in?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Oh, because I got the creative too.
Yes.
Wanting to do something creative. The sacral chakra was really calling to me. Mary, it feels like you really need to leave the job.
Yes.
It's very overwhelming. But I want to use the phrase, you need to take a chance. Yeah. Can you understand that? And I also feel like your root chakra needs balancing. So your sacral chakra and your root chakra, where your creative juices are, your sacral chakra. So kind of start writing down all the things that you want, how that's going to make you feel, and allow yourself to sit and just kind of like spirit tune into you and give you some nudges to validate what you're thinking, because it feels like you don't want to say it out loud, but it's there. Can you understand that?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the creative is, but the creative part of you, whether you bring creativity to a whole other field or whether this is your own personal creativity, but there's a big pull on that for me.
Now, do you see more happiness and fulfillment
Yes.
in general? Okay.
It feels very freeing. It feels like I feel like you can't breathe right now. There's a lot of stress where you are.
Yes,
so I just
yes.
feel
It's
okay.
hard to leave something where you have benefits and stuff too, though, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Between the unknown of not having any of that and staying where you know you have that.
Right. And it's not something you have to do today. Get your ducks in a row and ask Spirit to guide you as to what you need to do to feel comfortable to do it.
And do you see
But
success?
I do feel like, yes. For me, it feels like freedom, and it feels exhilarating, and that all comes with success, because I wouldn't be feeling that if that was, something that wasn't going to work for you.
And would that spill over into contentment in family as well?
Well, I think when you're happy, everybody else is going to be happy. That's what spills over. When you're doing something that you love, it resonates, and the more you have that energy around you, the more you attract that energy. So yes.
Exactly. You don't live in a bubble, so anything that, you shift your energy and you're doing something that you feel more energized by, other people around you are going to feel that as well, and might actually have them decide that they need to make a change as well. So, it can definitely have an effect.
Yeah, I just feel like you need to tweak a couple of things to be able to look at, what is going to be a right fit for you to take that step.
So the steps for now would be to write. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, right now I'd like to see you brainstorm and get a much clearer idea of what you want, because when you have a much clearer idea of what you want, that's going to start the wheels rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what is it that, like, for example, you don't really know what you want to do next, correct? But you need a change.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, to be quite honest with you. I just feel,
If there was one word that you would love to say, like one word that you could describe, not doesn't have to be anything specific about like a new job or more money or anything like that. One word that you feel you really need on most days when you're going to work. What's that one word?
I was going to say independence, meaning that I have the freedom to come and go as I please.
Good start. Excellent. And one more. There should be one more right behind that.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. We got time.
I think just happy.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't.
Feel?
No, I would be happy. I'm tired of feeling fearful of taking the chance.
Yes, there you go. Yes, exactly. So it's peace that you're looking for. Yeah. So it's like it's probably been nagging you for a while, especially if you're looking for that sense of peace. And once you actually make that decision to make a change, even if it's in the same type of work but maybe a different environment, anything that you can do to even temporarily make that change, it'll give you a different perspective and give you a chance to step back and evaluate and maybe not do a huge 180, but a little step in the right direction. So
now, would somebody approach me to give me that nudge, or was this something that comes just from me 100%?
It can be either. I think you're getting the nudge already because you want freedom. So the nudge is pushing you forward. And so now I believe you have to explore the opportunities that would be of interest to you. And once you start doing the work, then easily something can be brought to you, or you notice something that you didn't see before, or something you hadn't thought of. So getting the wheels moving and getting the energy rolling, I think, is the next step for you.
Mm.
Exactly. Like even just starting to look for other positions that you might be interested in, even if you don't actually apply for anything, might actually be enough energy to have something, a shift in energy for something to open up for you or something to be more obvious. So
Mhm.
just, start taking little steps and writing down what is your ideal day look like and imagining what that would look like, even if it seems completely outlandish, like no way can I go from this to that. But imagine what a perfect day looks like, and just spend a week. Don't even worry about, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do next week? Just spend a week, a few minutes after work, maybe this week or something, and just imagine what would my perfect day look like, and just let your imagination go wild, and don't judge what you're experiencing in that imagination, because sometimes I think we think too much about what's quote unquote possible, and not recognizing that there's a whole lot more possibility than not. So I would start there.
Yeah, because when I tell my husband, he's like, "Yeah, go ahead, do it," but I don't. He doesn't really mean it because he's fearful as
He
well.
wants
Do you know what I
he
mean?
wants you
He's
to
like,
be
"Yeah,
happy
okay."
though. He wants you to be happy. He
He
knows you're not
does,
happy.
but
Yes, but you know what? This is it. This is you've got this one beautiful life.
Right. Mary, have you told other people that you'd be looking for a job? Because maybe that's the way you can network, to have somebody bring something to you that you hadn't thought of. So share it with some friends or people that you trust. And
idea.
but replace your fear with faith.
Fear
Have
with
faith.
faith. Okay.
Yeah, and ask your guides to help. Communicate to your spiritual team. Your guides are there for a reason. They want to work with you. And sit down and write down the things you want, like Laura said, and then ask your team. Just say, whoever's willing and ready to help me with this, I am willing and ready.
So don't pick up certain guide, just call it out.
I would always suggest to if you, do you know your guides?
No, I don't.
Okay, so what I would ask is your main guide, your master guide. And you don't have to know a name of your guide to communicate with them. For a year and a half, I called mine MG for Master Guide.
Okay.
And so ask them to come with you. I mean, the spirit world, the angelic realm, they're all waiting for us to ask for help. They can intervene on certain things to nudge us. But if you want some action, get your team involved and get your Master Guide, and just start thinking about how exciting it will be.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try it all.
Wonderful.
Great.
Very good.
Thank you, ladies.
Let us know how it goes.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.
Take care. Right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ask your master guides.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's see. Let's go on to Cynthia. I want to get to everybody if I can. Hi, Cynthia.
Yes. Hi there. Thank you so much. What a beautiful show. I'm new to the show, so I'm really appreciating it. I'd love a reading. I'm doing my best to take care of myself, and also increase using my talents out in the world. I also helped care for my husband who went through a health challenge. He's doing all right, and now my dad has brain cancer, and he went through the surgery successful. He's on the East Coast, and I had been out there, and I have 3 siblings, and I've been virtual caregiving, and I have, I do my best not to have compassion fatigue, because I send prayers. I try to cut the energetic cords at night. I think my dad's probably going to need more care. My siblings are out on the East Coast, and people are discussing. I help try to find naturopathic natural things, but then it comes down to money because it's not covered. I got grants for them, but I am focusing on me, trying to do the best I can. I'm wanting to be out there with I have a lot of well-being wisdom. I have a TV background. I won awards being on camera years ago. I did a well-being for the body and soul segment years ago.
So Cynthia, what is your question? Are you looking for
my question is how can I'm dealing with some, neck issues and brain fog, and I'm doing everything I can to I do the breathing, prayer, nature,
All right,
water.
Let's let Ellen tune in a little bit here.
I'm just trying to stay strong in who I am.
Yes.
Well, everyone, it seems like I'm the happiest person I know. Everyone around me is in some kind of pain.
All right, let's see what Ellen
And God bless them all, but I'm just trying to, do what I can to stay above water and soar.
Yeah. It feels to me like you have some energetic exhaustion. You're doing all this and sending all this out, and that's not helping you, because when you care for all of those around you and you're not caring for yourself first, you get depleted. And even though we're working in energy work, we still have to work with for ourselves. So that self-love and compassion, it shouldn't be exhausting you. So I think that you're getting too caught up in your brain thinking about all that you have to do for others.
Right, because they send panic texts like Dad's tongue's swollen or this is happening.
Sure. Mm-hmm. And
get professional care for him. Self-love and compassion for me. I do my hour of power. I did my chair yoga. I went out in nature. I journal. I eat healthy. Yeah. There might be some more piece. I meditate.
Yeah. Do you have some people-pleasing issues? Like you want to do for others more so than yourself?
No, you know what it is? I'm highly intuitive, and I seem to see things like months ahead. And then I'm trying to learn when to share it, when not to share it, and what to do with that. It's a wild.
Okay. So here's a suggestion I would make. Write things down, Cynthia, in a book. Okay. Get your separate, journal and write things down intuitively, and then tune into spirit as to when to share, because too many intuitives share too much, and the journey of the other person can be affected, because even as an intuitive, we're not all 100%, right? And anything can change people's perspective if we say things. We've all had intuitives tell us things that we look at them and it's like, oh, really? And then you worry about it and it doesn't happen, or vice versa. But I want you to just write it down and let go of, it feels like you have a burden, like you're carrying this burden of having to do all of this for other people. You don't. And you can also ask Spirit to not show you until it's time for you to know it. You can put up healthy boundaries with the spirit world.
Oh, when I'm supposed to know this?
Yeah. So you...
Yeah, healthy. Yeah, like I felt that when I went to go visit my father, I told my brother he needs more care. In 90 days, he may not be here. And then he got the diagnosis like 2 weeks later of the brain cancer tumor. I felt he may be here a little longer, but after that, but if that hadn't happened, he had fallen. And then, but I was kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I do. And then, right. And I'm wanting to like move ahead with my, I have a great gift for well-being cooking. I help heal myself, autoimmune with cooking and these beautiful date nights. And and my husband still struggles with some things too. We have a deep love. He still struggles with his words sometimes of what he writes beautiful love notes, but he gets frustrated easily too.
Yeah, and that's all trying on you as well, dear. That's part of the energetic exhaustion. And so, find the self-care to have compassion for you. Find the self-worth to take time off with others. And I'm not talking about your husband, but on other issues coming before that. You don't have to do all the things in the spiritual community, in your spiritual schedule every day. Do the ones that you need first. Right. Because sometimes people get over-spiritualized and they're exhausted.
Yep.
Yeah. You've got a very caring heart. You've got a very gentle and loving energy, and I think you just need to find that self-care part first before you think about going out and bringing it to others.
Okay, the self-care. And what do you feel like my strength would be out in the world? Is it the well-being piece, the
you know what?
intuition, the cheerleading of people,
Cynthia,
the food?
Hey, Cynthia, take a breath.
Yeah.
What I would suggest, because we answered a few questions already, I want to take one more caller before we wrap up. But I would love for you to call in next week, and my guest next week, I think you'll be able to get some of those answers from her as well. She's wonderful. So
Okay.
all right. Okay. Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Will.
You're
Bless you
welcome.
both.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I just
Okay,
want to jump
bye-bye.
over to Carmen really quickly to see if we can help her in like 2 minutes or less. So, hi, Carmen.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for also taking care of everybody and everything. Thanks so much.
We try. We only got 2 minutes, but we'll see what we can do for you.
2 minutes, yeah. We'll just have to say hello and goodbye. But thanks so much for taking my call.
Okay. Is there anything we can look at really quickly for you?
Yeah. It probably can be really quick because I know exactly like what I'm asking. And
Sure.
Do you think am I going to be let go of this job that I have been doing for 4 years? I'm trying to work on some paper things and some just maybe prolong and wait and see what happens. But what is the extension necessary for my, I think it's related to everybody else's kind of share today. So
yeah, the fear of what's coming, right? And fear of the unknown. Yeah.
Well, the fear of what's coming, or is this? What am I supposed to? Not what am I supposed to do, but am I going to get an extension at the place where I work, or does the universe want me to move on, or what is going on? Maybe there's a transition I'm in.
Yeah, let me just say this. I'm gonna say I feel a transition coming. Whether it is, how it comes about, I'm not sure, but I do feel a transition coming for you with work. Now, what I'd like to do is hand over to Ellen about how you can handle that transition, how to best maneuver with that. How does that sound? Okay, we got a minute and a half, so let's see what we can do.
Okay.
All righty.
Okay.
First, I want to say to you, let go of the fear, okay? So whatever's going to be brought to you is part of your journey, it's part of your path, and it's what you have been thinking about and almost planting those seeds already, right?
Okay.
And
yeah, that's right. That's right.
To do something different. So
seeds for a while. Yeah,
right.
For about 3
Right.
years now.
Yeah. Right. So you have to embrace change. It's going to be good. I can feel your fear. I can feel it in my chest. And I want you to just let go of that and be open to change. And you're going to make great progress. I do too feel like there could be an interim between this and where you're going, but it's all about you letting go of the fear to get where you really want to go. Because you have to look in the mirror and see yourself the way other people see you, because you don't have enough faith in yourself because of the fear.
Okay. Yeah, I can work on my fear, God willing. I can do some work around that and really help myself, with the transition.
Are you overthinking things? Are you overthinking things?
I feel like I'm more feeling the fear and afraid of it. Like I'm terrified of the loneliness
Ladies,
and the fear
we're done
and all that at
I'm
night.
so sorry. We're down at the bottom of the hour. Hopefully, Carmen, that helped a little bit. You can always call back in again another time. We'd love to have you call back in.
Yes, exactly. I will call earlier. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ellen. Anybody would like to check out Ellen's website? ellenbenthealing.com. Thanks, Ellen. A pleasure.
Thank you, Laura.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. This is Unity Online Radio, the voice of an awakening world.
Sometimes you feel so alone and overwhelmed you don't know where to turn. These days, it seems like there is no end to our problems. We invite you to connect with Silent Unity, the 24-hour prayer ministry where someone is waiting to pray with you right now. Since 1890, Silent Unity has always been there. No judgment or dogma, just someone affirming the best for you. Call 816-969-2000 today. You can also connect online at unityprayervigil.org